Hello. Okay, so I had to get on here because and my phone is literally like I'm my phone was dead. But the I'm in a role, you know what I mean? And you know when you get those divine hits, when you get like the downloads are coming through or the clarity is coming through and it's like this is now, this is the moment. Like don't wait because if you wait, then it's not going to be there, it's not going to be fresh. So I'm going to do my best just like to hold my phone up and jam with you guys while I'm here. And a couple of you guys have been like, oh my God, what's that filter that you've been using? This is I get the horns or whatever. I have been wearing this because, this is the shadow, right? Like this represents, the devil, the shadow, the parts of us that, we don't want to see, that we don't want to claim, we don't want to own. The things within our subconscious mind, the things that we're quote unquote not aware of, right? But are literally staring us in the face. So anyhow, it's a lot of the work that I do, right? Is shadow work, mirror work, working with the subconscious. Oh, my mommy just messaged me. Of course she did. The mother is the moon. The moon is the subconscious. So anyhow, all right. But this is actually what I wanted to speak about, which does tie into this because the moon is, it is the feminine. It is the divine feminine, in astrology as well as just literally outside. When we go outside, the moon controls the tides. And we all know that our bodies are more than 70% water. So the moon also influences us as well because we are, we're a part of Earth. We're a part of nature. We're a part of this planet. We're children of the Earth. And so we're all connected. And so the influence that the moon, just as it has an influence on the tides, also, has an influence upon our bodies, as specifically the water within our bodies, which is our emotions, our feelings. Okay. With women, it's our menstrual cycle. And, so much, of course, of our experience of our world, has to do with how we're feeling about things, right? I mean, wow, I'm going on to a whole other tangent. This isn't even what I wanted to jam about, but hey, I'm gonna go where spirit leads me because I have spoken about this so many times in a couple of different places, but I haven't spoken about it live here in a while. So perhaps that's why it's coming through now. Anyhow, so, meaning like you can have the best quote unquote life on paper in the entire world, right? You can, have the amazing job, have the amazing house, have the amazing, car, but if you don't feel good about those things, meaning like, let's say you have, $1 million business or you have $1 million in the bank or whatever, right? But if deep down inside you are always stressed about money, you're always worrying about money, that's actually not wealth, right? Like the reason why quote unquote we want money is so that we feel safe, secure, and stable, so that we feel free. There's a lot of different reasons why people want money. It could be power, that's your work. And part of the work that I lead people through in their wealth consciousness journey, in their truth journey, in their relationship with money, is about getting crystal clear on what it is that you want. What do you want money for? What is your relationship to money? Because that's what you're really wanting. Money is just the external representation that you've done that on the inside. So there's this beautiful quote by, I believe it's the Delphic Oracle, where it says, you cannot have anything outside of you unless you access it first within. You cannot have anything outside of you unless you can first access that within. So you cannot have wealth, right? You cannot have that exterior true manifestation of wealth if you're not experiencing abundance and wealth within you first. Okay. And if that's your experience, meaning where it's not happening in your life, your external reality, your subconscious is actually reflecting back to you. This is what mirror work is about. All of this we go into Lift the Veil, by the way, which is my high level mastermind. We begin in 4 days. Hold on one moment. I'm coming, baby. Hold on one moment. Mommy's doing a live stream, okay? Hey, mommy's doing a live stream, okay? What's going on? You need to come inside? Something's up with Momo. Okay. I'm going to come back. So, this is the value of mirror work, right? If you want to change your external reality, you know, we've been programmed and conditioned, I mean, you know, to go out there and like do it out there, right? And expect for things inside of us to feel different. And we're going about it the opposite way. Okay. So this is the value of mirror work. And this is why, you know, so many people, like, they want things in this life. We've been sold this thing that, oh, you know, you can have your dream life. You just have to go out and get it. And yes, there is an element of that, right? Like, we do have to take action on our desires. But if you don't do the internal work, you will never get the satisfaction that, because you want the feelings that go with the external experience, right? You want to have the money in the bank and also feel wealthy on the inside. You want to have the man in your bed and then also feel that you're loved and adored and cherished on the inside. You want to have, you know, a beautiful family and on the inside feel that you're connected and you belong, right? We want them both. You don't want, you know, because that's actually what true luxury is. And luxury means of the light, meaning that you're able to see who you are, and you're able to see who you are and your value because it's also happening in your external reality. When you get on, say hello so that I can say hello back to you. My name is Dr. Stephanie Pierre. I am on a riff here, jamming about all of the things. And it's funny because I was just talking about, you know, like I had like this, you know, like, and I'm going to get there. I'm circling back. Like, I was just like, I have to get on here. I have to talk about this thing. And then, you know, I came inside to charge my phone. And when I came inside, now I'm kind of like, you know, connecting back to it. So you see what I mean? Like, it's so important. I spoke about this on another live stream about timing, how important timing is, that when you get an impulse, when your heart says move, when you have this, you know, thing, it's like, take action on it. Take action on it, and or make a decision that, you know, you're going to sleep on it, you know, if you need to come to some emotional clarity about something, and then take action on it. So coming back to, this is what I wanted to jam about. Oh, so yeah, okay. So I wanted to talk about needs. Whenever we are repressing our needs or denying our needs, this means that the earth element inside of you, in your life, is out of whack. Okay? The earth element has everything to do with your physical reality. It's your physical body, your health. It also has to do with your ability to work and to provide nourishment for yourself. So your ability to make money and also receive money, you know, so that you can buy food and pay your bills and live in a house and, you know, and keep the heat on and all of those things. Your ability to manifest, this is all the realm of the earth element. So if you are denying your needs or repressing your own needs, your earth element is out of balance. And this is, I want to speak to this because this is really, really important. Right now we are in North America anyway. We're in the time of the year that's what's called late summer. Late summer corresponds in Chinese medicine to the earth element, okay? It's the harvest. And for those people that are caretakers, meaning a lot of mothers fall into this category because they take care of their children. A lot of people that are considered lovers, like the lover archetype, meaning they have a lot of focus and attention on the other in their life, meaning their man, their partner, their friends. A lot of their experience is about looking at other people and serving them, nurturing them, taking care of them, okay? This is the earth element. So what happens when this element goes off is that you can be so focused on everybody else that you don't even focus on your own needs. You don't even take into consideration, well, actually, what do I want? What do I need? And one way that this shows up a lot, especially because the earth is very strong. Earth element people, I mean, look at the planet. The planet holds all of us. It is so powerful. The only thing more powerful than the earth element is the water element, which the water is also, you know, part of the earth. That's another topic, kind of, you know, like meaning I want to stay focused on the earth for now. But by the way, in Lift the Veil, the Moonchild edition of Star Disco, we go into both the earth and the water element because, yeah, we're going into mermaids, we're going into the nymph energy elementals. You know, the moon is the mother, which is the feminine. So the feminine elements are earth and water. So coming back to earth though. So what happens with earth though, what's different from earth than water, by the way, is that earth can be hard. Like, it's solid. It has the ability to be solid, to be strong, to provide structure, to provide like this fortitude. And what can happen when this element goes out of balance is that these sorts of people can get into this place of like, well, I don't need anything. I don't need anybody. I'm strong. I don't need, right? Because I can do this by myself. I can take care of myself, which is out of balance because every single person on this planet needs something. You have to eat. If you do not eat, you will die. That is a physical need. And each and every one of us, because we're all unique human beings, is we all have unique needs. Yo, what is up? The Sage Surfer is in the house. What? So blessed to have you on my love stream this morning. Wow, this is so great. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, so we all have needs, right? And we all have unique needs depending upon what kind of animal we are, meaning what our constitution is, why we're here, like what our purpose is, right? It's like, you know, if you're an athlete, like you need certain things in order to build your body, to, you know, to live out your truth and to carry out your destiny, right? Your dharma. Versus this, if you're an artist or if you're an intellectual or if you're a student or whatever, insert whatever it is that your thing is, right? You need certain things, certain building blocks that's going to make more of you, right? And so when we get into this place of like, well, I don't need help, this is actually one way that the earth element really goes off is by denying their own needs for, and it could be help. Right? It could be, you know, like, I'm so strong, I don't need these things. You know, it's like, I don't need money. I don't need, you know, I don't need somebody to help me. I don't need somebody to help me with the kids. I don't need affection. I don't need sex, right? And we can go into this place of, those are things that I want, okay? Like I may, all right? So I want to clear up this distinction because in the spiritual community, you know, I've seen this, you know, from a few people and even from a couple of my teachers, right? And where it's like, don't talk about like being needy. Like you don't need anything. It's like, what do you want? Okay. And so here's the difference, right? Is that yes, we're all gods and goddesses. We're all half, you know, divinity, half animal, right? Like we're creators, right? Like that's more the fire element thing, right? Where it's like, what do you desire? What do you want, right? But remember that you came here to be on planet Earth in a body. So you have to remember that you fucking came from the earth, right? And that earth part of you has fucking needs. So, and so this is one way that the, somebody's sending me messages right now. Okay, I'll get to that in a moment. So, yeah, like this is one way that the earth element actually really goes off, is by, you know, denying their own needs. And another way is about commitments, right? Like when we're so focused on everybody else in our life, our children, our man, our business, like the people that we serve, our friends, it's like we're really good at making commitments to other people and saying, oh, like I can do this for you, you know, I'm going to show up for you, right? But then we're not able to actually either, one, make commitments to ourselves, there's like a two-part thing, or even realize like, hey, like I can actually make commitments to myself, meaning I can hold myself to a higher standard and say, you know what, I'm going to choose this for my life, and I'm actually going to hold myself to it. So when the earth element is off, it's right, it's like we can make commitments to other people and be there for other people and be like, I'll always be there for you. I'll be your rock. Like I'll stand by you. But then we don't even stand by ourselves. Meaning we don't even hold ourselves up to our own higher standards. We're not even, you may not even get into that place where you either can make a commitment to yourself, or you're like desiring something for yourself, holding yourself to a higher standard and saying, you know what, I'm going to give to myself. I'm going to nourish myself. I'm going to feed myself. Because here's the thing, the earth is about a circle. It's a circle. And that circle, there's a process to that circle, which is to receive, to mix, and then to propose. So the very first step of the earth element to actually exist and to be in harmony and in balance is to receive. Ask and ye shall receive. It is a law. Ask and ye shall receive. Just like when you're a little baby, and what does the baby do? It cries to mama to be fed. It's receiving. It's opening the mouth, right? To open and receive. Ask and ye shall receive. And this is the first step. Like to get the earth element in balance. And sometimes when we're looking at where is the earth element out of balance, right? You want to look at what phase of that element is off. But this is the first step to any sort of manifestation, is ask and you shall receive. To know that when you are asked, it is automatically given. It is automatically done. And it's a matter of you, number one, trusting that and owning that, and then getting into alignment, taking the action steps to actually make that possible. So that's the first step. So it's like the earth receiving the water, the earth receiving the seed, the baby receiving the nourishment. Ask and you shall receive. The second step is to mix it, meaning after you've asked for something and you've allowed yourself to receive the information, to receive the guidance, to receive the inspiration, to receive the food, the money, whatever it may be, because nourishment comes in so many different forms. Abundance comes in so many different forms, right? It's just energy. So it's not just about food. It's not just about money. It could be inspiration. It could be ideas. It could be an action step. It could be, an intuition of, oh, go here, do that, talk to this person, write, blah, blah, blah. Okay? But the second part is to mix, which means you've got to mix that with you. You've got to mix that with you so that you can integrate it, so that it's not just something that you're regurgitating. Like a lot of times with people that, when we're learning from other people or with teachers or with anything, right? It's like when we're first learning to do things, it's like we copy. It's like how birds, or how when we learning kids, or like parrots or whatever, it's like they copy. Like that's how kids learn, is they copy from their parents. Right? When we go to school, we're copying down the letters, we copy down the numbers, right? So that's like, I'm getting all these messages now, but I'm going to stay focused. So going from to be in integrity to get into integration, right? We have to go from copying, right? And mixing it with who am I? What is going to make this me? How am I going to make this authentic? So we're mixing it. So it's not something that we just regurgitate, right? Like, oh, so-and-so teacher does it this way, so I'm going to do it like them. Or so-and-so, you know, does it like this, so I'm going to do it like them. Or so-and-so's wearing, you know, and there's nothing wrong with like learning from our teachers and, you know, and being inspired and you know, and like taking little bits of what they're doing, but you have to mix it with you. You got to make it real for you, right? And so, because that's what's actually going to make it valuable. Because if, you know, if you want, you know, get it from the source, you know what I mean? It's only going to become valuable. You're only going to really be able to provide value once you make it yours, once you make it your own, once you know, and it takes a commitment in order to do that, right? It's like you can watch all the podcasts in the world, you can read all of the posts, you can read all of the books, you can, you know, buy all the, you know, or get all the free PDFs or whatever, right? Like that's easy. And that's valuable too. Like a lot of us, that's how we start, right? In order for us to like get a sense of, do I like this, da da da. But then you actually have to make a commitment, meaning that you put yourself in some sort of container that is going to create the pressure. That's what creates the alchemy, is the actual sealing of the commitment, the container. And it's like you cannot get out of it until it's complete. Like when a woman is pregnant, right? It's like she has to be able to hold that baby for 9 months, right? And cook that baby so that it actually mixes, that seed or that semen or that sperm or whatever actually mixes with the mother. It mixes with the matter so that it's creating something new. The two then become one. It's making something new. The two become three. That's right. Like in numerology, there's kind of like that. Some people say like there's no such thing as two. 1 plus 1 doesn't equal 2. It automatically just becomes 3. Like that's why 3 is like that sacred number. So anyhow, but you're not able to get to that, right? That fertilization, that growth, that new birth, you know, that, you know, it doesn't happen unless there's that container, that commitment, which is why it's so important that, you know, it's like, and we can do this to ourselves, right? Like we do have this ability to commit to ourselves, right? And say, I'm going to do this for myself. And I'm like, no matter what. And I'm going to hold myself to this higher standard. But a lot of the times, a lot of the people don't do this. And a lot of the people can't do this, right? And that's why we hire people to fucking help us. That's why we hire trainers. That's why we hire mentors, guides, you know, friends, right? So that they see something that we're not seeing. And they hold us to that higher standard, and they also hold the space open for you to grow. It's just like the mom expands, right, to make that space for the baby to grow. And a lot of times people aren't able to do that for themselves, right? Because growth is fucking painful. It's stretchy. That's why, you know, like when the two space, like partnership is really like, it's such a beautiful experience because, you know, you move through karma faster that way. It's another law, right? It's why they say the fastest way to move through karma is to actually be in a committed relationship because it's like, now you're in, it's like, you gotta do the work. You can't like fucking like back out. You know, so a lot of people that have come to me that are in relationships, you know, struggles, and they're like, like my man won't commit, or, you know, I don't feel like they're committed, or they don't want to take the next step, and or blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I'm like, I ask them, I'm like, where are you not committed? Where are you not taking the commitment in your life? And it may not be in the relationship. It might be showing up in another area of your life, but it's mirroring back to you where you're not committed to yourself. Meaning where you're not taking the risk and you're saying, I'm going to do this no matter fucking what. I am going to give 110% of my all, and I might fail. Failing is the first, like, that's part of the, some people say, like, I think Eleanor Roosevelt has that really great quote where it's like, failure is the first step to success, right? It's like you have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to fall down. It's like little kids, you never learn to fucking ride a bicycle, or you never learn to run. The little kid doesn't like start running, right? It's like you have to take that first step, right? But if you're not even committed to make that first step and to say, you know what, I might not, right? And so that is the value of what a commitment actually does, right? Is it's like it holds the space open to support you in that growing process. And this is what I mean by we all need support, right? And there is something to be said, like there are certain things, right, that we do alone, right? And there are certain ways that we use other people to escape our sovereignty, right? Like you can be in a relationship and that's the other way that the earth element actually goes off, is that they escape themselves by always focusing on other people, right? It's like they only feel safe and secure and stable when everybody else around them is feeling safe and secure and stable, but actually inside they're shaking. Actually inside they're dry. Actually inside they're like longing and needing for nourishment. So it's like this backwards thing, or so. All right, so that's mix. And then we have propose. So, right, so when that has happened long enough, when you've been in that container, then it's the heat, right, has actually cooked something. So imagine putting like the bun in the oven. That's why they call it the bun in the oven, right? So you put the food in the oven, you put your work in, you create that friction, you create that grinding. That's what the stomach, does, is it grinds up the food, it breaks it up, it's doing the work, it's labor. It's labor, it's work. Put in the fucking work, do the work, put in the friction, right? You gotta have some lubrication though, because it doesn't feel good if you've got a lot of friction and no lubrication. So you gotta be able to taste the sweetness, right? Like through the work, right? If you're not enjoying it, what's the fucking point, right? This is why a lot of people give up, because they're doing work that actually doesn't satisfy them. They're doing something that isn't true to them, that doesn't feel good, and it's not gonna last. And that is like, if that's where you're at. So this is like another phase of like identifying where you might be off in the earth element, is like, is the juice worth, what is it? Is the squeeze worth the juice, or the juice worth the squeeze? I've got like so many quotes. All the quotes are coming in. I've got all the support coming in from the higher realms today. But anyhow, is the juice worth the squeeze? I think that's the expression. So it's like, you got to ask yourself, like, is this work that I actually really love? Is this meaningful to me? Does this have meaning? Does this have value? Does this bring me joy? Because if it doesn't, that's where you got to tweak some things, right? Because you're not going to be able to take it to its full completion, right? To be able to keep doing the friction, that work, and have the juice, and have the love, and have the lubrication, right? So, but let's say you do have those things, right? And that commitment is there. It will cook, right? It will come to completion, and then you're going to be able to propose, and it's your offering. This is the great work. It's saying, this is what I've done with what I've been given, with the talents that I've been given, with the gifts that I've been given. I've gone into the darkness. I've taken the steps. I've gone out of my comfort zone, and I've done the work. And now after this, now I'm able to share with you something that's only I can give, because it's unique to me. It's not some regurgitated thing. It's not some copy and paste mass meme that everybody says. No, this comes from my blood. This comes from my sweat. This comes from my tears, my work, my love, my passion, and I'm giving it to you the way that only I can do it. That is how you bring value to the world. And by bringing that value to the world, now you can feed the world. Now your work is your service. And when you really do that, That's nourishment, right? And so I want to talk about fasting on here, and then I think I'm going to wrap this up, and maybe there's questions, if anybody has questions, because I'm feeling like what I wanted to share and come through is almost done. So the value of fasting, fasting, not eating food, abstaining from certain things, that sort of deal. When we aren't sure of who we are, maybe what we're good at, right? Like, we can kind of get into this place where it's like, you know what I need? I don't really know what I need. Or I don't know what I bring to the table, right? Like, or maybe you're looking in the world, right? And you're like, I need something, but I can't find it, right? Like, actually what I want isn't out there in the world. This is where fasting is like such a gift. It's such an art that goes above and beyond detoxing and cleansing. But what fasting from yes, it has to do with spiritual will and resolve and all of those things, but also, the other spiritual gift of what fasting provides is when we're able to really get into aloneness, meaning it's like we're turning inwards, right? And this is like the role of the hermit, or the role of sometimes where we have to be alone, okay? This is the value of that, is when you're not having outside input, right? You're not eating anything from the outside. You're not consuming everything from the outside. You have no choice but to eat yourself, okay? Meaning that the only way you're actually going to survive is by your body eats itself. So you're actually able to taste who I am. What am I? What do I taste like by just receiving me, right? And as the body starts to do that, what then happens is we're able to come up with and get super, super clear on how am I different? What is it that I need, right? And that only I can make, right? That's what fasting does, is it helps you to get so clear on, wow, this is who I am. And actually, this is what I love about me. And this is what I can bring to the world, because I just fed myself on myself. Meaning I just sustained my own nourishment with just me. But here's the thing is, you can only do that for so long. You're going to die, right? Unless you become a breatharian, that's a thing. I mean, I think anything is possible. That's like on a whole other level. I haven't done that. Like, I have fasted for, the longest that I have fasted for was 2 weeks. And that was just on my own urine and water, and I was also doing lots of enemas and a lot of different meditations and things like that. But I mean, I lost a lot of weight, and you know what I mean? It's like, you can only fast, you can only be alone for so long before you're gonna, you know what I mean? Like, we have to eat. So this is like what I want to say about that is there is value to sometimes turning out the outside noise and to not taking guidance or help from other people, or even being alone. Like, if you're in a marriage, if you're in a committed relationship, there might be times in that marriage where it's like you do have to take time away from yourself as you're growing, right? To get clear of like, well, who am I and what do I need now? And, and have that space, that freedom, so that you're not like codependent, that you don't lose yourself in the relationship. Like, there's value in that, right? But like with anything, there's timing, there's cycles, right? And these things, we can see in the birth chart, but you don't need that. I mean, that's a great tool, and it makes things super, super clear as a form of divination. But like, just by tuning in, you can receive this information yourself of like knowing like, right? Like, I need to be alone for a certain period of time. And it doesn't mean the marriage has to end, or I have to break up with this friendship, or I have to, stop working with this mentor or teacher. It just means it's time for me to actually receive my own guidance, right? But then you go back into the dance, right? It's like, so that is pretty much what I wanted to share about the earth element. I'm curious to know, if any of this resonated for you. For a lot of mothers, I'm sure this, because no matter what your constitution is, once you become a mother, you tap into the earth element, right? It's like, it just becomes a part of who you are, and it will always be a part of who you are, because once you're a mother, you're always a mother, right? And I think that also I would like to expand upon what it means to be a mother, because, being a mother isn't just about having a baby of your body. Yes, that's like a major way. That's a way that all of us know and can see. It's very visible. But being a mother is anytime you're nurturing new life, anytime you're in the creative process, you are mothering something into life. You're mothering something into reality. You're nurturing something. You're loving, you're incubating love and creativity. That's actually what it means to be a mother. And we all, whether you're a man or you're a woman, or however you identify, or whatever phase of life that you're in, like I know women that have never had a baby of their body, but they're mothers, right? Like they're aunties and sisters and quote unquote mothers to my children and to me, even though they never will have children of their own body, or they're incredibly creative human beings. So this archetype, right? I want you to expand your awareness, expand your idea of what it means to be a mother and the earth element, so that you can see, wow, okay, how does this relate to me? And even if that's not something, like we all will go through periods of our life, like even because now we're in, and again, this is the northern hemisphere that I'm speaking to, in this time of year, this is the earth element type of year. And so we all have access to it, right? It's kind of like during Cancer season, when the sun is in the sign of Cancer, we all have those feelings of family, and we'll have access to it throughout different periods of our life. Does that make sense? So I think that's it. I'm gonna wrap that up. Do you guys have any questions? If this is something that interests you, if you're feeling like, wow, yeah, actually I do need help, or it's really hard for me to ask for help, like I feel like I need the help, but I don't know how to ask for it, I don't know how to receive it, it's really hard for me, I don't know what I want, I don't know what I need, like these are all, or maybe you're too proud, right? Like sometimes this can be part of like that earth thing too, where it's like, if I say that I need help, then that means there's something wrong with me, that I'm not a good mother, or I'm not a good whatever, I'm not a good teacher, right? It's like, especially people that are really, sometimes this can happen with people that are really super evolved, right? Like really, really awesome. Like they've gone through fucking hard shit, right? It's like even and especially those people, right? It's like, who could possibly support me? I'm so fucking strong. Like I fucking dealt with the fucking hardest shit in the world. Who could possibly fucking be as strong as me? Who could possibly support me? Right? And so that is the great shadow of the earth element, right? Is where we kind of like, it's like we're so serious, you can become so hard and so, untrusting. Like I think trust is a key word of that earth element, right? Is we don't even have the ability to trust somebody else. Like nobody else could possibly understand what I'm going through. Nobody could possibly understand or be able to support me or hold me, because I'm the fucking strongest person that I know. That is a great shadow. So if that is you, right? Like how is that actually serving you? And imagine if you are that strong, to be that empowered and to be met by somebody who is at that level. If you were to allow yourself to make space for that as a possibility, how far could you go? How much further, how much more ease, how much more pleasure, how much more joy, how much more fun could it be to make space for that reality? So, yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to share. And again, if that's you, just send me a message, reach out to me. Like I say, I promise I won't bite unless you're into that sort of thing. You know, Lift the Veil begins in 4 days. This is my high-level mastermind. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It is my foundational program within Star Disco, which is Astro Magic and Fitness for Sexy Witches. So this goes above astrology. This goes above fitness. This is a holistic way of working with the elements, working with astrology, working with your body. It's what I call, it's experiential and experimental. It's building the light body. So by channeling down and connecting to the stars, the light source, the power within the stars, and you yourself are a star, right? It's a co-empowerment of building that relationship. So I actually have a whole other video where I go, because a lot of people have been reaching out to me about, you know, Star Disco and like, who is this appropriate for? And, you know, what level of astrology do I need to be at? And if I'm not into astrology, can I still use this? Like, I answer all of those questions in that video. So, you know, if you need help in locating that, just comment here, please, in the comment section, and I will post that video for you so that you can check that out, because this is appropriate for whatever level of astrology that you're at. And in that video I explain why, because it's how I bring it. It's when I share about what I'm sharing, it's more about my energy, it's the lights, it's my passion and my joy about what I'm sharing with you that you're actually getting, much more than it is about the actual knowledge and about what it is that I'm saying. It's who I'm being when I'm saying it. It's who I'm choosing to be behind the scenes that you are aligning with and getting access to. It's my energy. It's my light. If you love astrology and you love the stars and you love fitness and you love beauty and you love magic and you love all of these things, then fuck yeah, hell yeah. But there's a lot of people that, meaning we get things from other people because of what they turn on inside of us. Like, there's a lot of people that, like, I never knew that actually, wow, I was really into astrology, and now I'm kind of like, oh wow, this stuff is kind of cool. Or I never really knew how much I was into blah blah blah, but you actually turned me on to that, right? Like, you actually made me see something and feel something in a different way. So I invite you to be open and to expand your perception of what any of this shit is that I'm talking about. And most likely if you are on this live stream, you're already doing that. So preaching to the choir. All right. Mwah. I love you guys. I shall talk to you later. Have the most amazing Saturday. Bye.